The energy that he displayed was unimaginable. I was in my early 20s and I could not keep up with it.
And then around the late 60s to the early 70s, ISKCON just exploded. People were joining left and right.
He managed to manage everything through his letters.
Prabhupada would be receiving mail from hundreds of students, and he would personally write to every one of them. Prabhupada never got a letter that he didn't answer.
Receiving letters from Srila Prabhupada is what probably kept us going. And whenever a letter came from Prabhupada, it was usually read out loud.
And some of those letters are like 2 or 3 pages long where he answers every aspect. He'll say, do this, then you do that, then you do this. And by the way, for Melanie's cough, you should give her this kind of syrup. And, you know, every detail. Many times, I would be whispering to someone in the hallway, no, you can't see him right now. I would hear, let them come in.
How are you? You look better. You are looking better, brighter. When I saw you leaving last.
He would see whoever came. Prabhupada had time for everyone.
The only thing is that we will have to delay the loan because for the next 3 months, all our money will be used to print these 17 books.
Fastable books, then loan. However, we cannot hold up printing, that is not possible.
As the head of the American BBT, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, I was the person that Prabhupada would say, okay, now send money here, now send money there. So I was watching Prabhupada build this Hare Krishna movement through his book sales.
One has to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the grace of the Supreme Personality of God. He reveals. He cannot be understood by speculation. Athapite deva padambujaddam.
He would translate usually after everyone else was asleep. I'll say from 11 till 3, 4 in the morning.
Can you imagine at his age translating so many books, the Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is like a huge work, translating 18,000 verses, writing a commentary for each one of them. The intensity and the urgency and the compassion that comes through every single line. His words carry so much power. It's a full expression of his heart that comes through.
He really transformed people's lives with his very straightforward translations and commentaries and purports. Very scholarly presentation, in fact. And he wanted the intellectual class of men to, as his words, to examine and explore these texts. And he had all kinds of people examine and explore them.
The first necessity is that you should be self-sufficient. That is God's arrangement.
Prabhupada advocated living in harmony with nature and having self-sustaining farms, and to also take advantage of all of the gifts that God has given us and not try to artificially change them, but take them as they come, as a gift from nature.
I have traveled all over the world. There are so much land vacant that if we produce food grain, then we can feed 10 times as much population as at the present moment. There is no question of scarcity.
He set up simple living and high thinking as a standard and showed that if you simply had an acre of land and took care of it nicely and you protected the animal, like the cow especially, that you could be self-sustaining and that everything
Where people went, there were Hare Krishnas. Comedians would always tell jokes about the Hare Krishnas in the airports.
Dinner in first class tonight will be bean sprouts and broccoli.
Fine.
And will that be chanting or non-chanting?
Chanting, please.
Krishna became a household word and became part of the cultural scene.
You with the banjo. Can you help me? I have lost my sense of direction.
Have you tried Hare Krishna?
No.
Let me ask you, in reincarnation, does that mean my soul would pass to another human being, or would I come back as a moose or an aardvark or something?
Take our literature, read it over, and think about it.
I left the supermarket in a really bad mood. And then I met these very nice people, the Hare Krishnas. They sang me a song, they gave me some rice. It was just the little pickup I needed. You know, if I hadn't had to make dinner, I might have gotten into their van.
I understand, but do you feel that in the Bible and the Quran and so forth, don't you run into conflicts at all or contradictions in those particular philosophies?
No, I don't find any conflict because the ultimate goal is God. So you have to understand God and try to love Him. So you can go through any religious process. If the goal is attained, that you understand what is God and you try to love Him, then your life is perfect.
When something was incorrect, if something was misleading to Prabhupada, he would boldly speak out about it.
Why you have to accept birth? Why you have to accept death? Why you have to accept disease? Why you have to accept old age? These are the problems. These are the problems, and these problems can be solved in human form of life.
He was fearless and he was bold.